Tragic romance, as the release goes, set in New France back in 1735. It tells the story of Marie-Joseph Angelique. She was a black slave who was accused, tried, and convicted of setting fire to Montreal. It was back, if you talk about the era of the infamous Slavery Act, it was known as Le Code Noir. Angelique is made by two filmmakers, and it stars a Montreal television personality and actress. I'm talking, of course, about MARLYNE AFFLAK. MARLYNE joins me here in studio. Good morning, MARLYNE. Good to see you.
It's nice to see you.
Also with us is KRONISH and Robert GERVAIS from Rightime Productions, the filmmakers. Good morning to you guys. Welcome back. Good to see both of you. Congratulations. First of all, MARLYNE, what was it about this project that excited you, that you said, hey, I want to play Angelique?
Well, after working on Musique Plus for a couple of years, I really wanted to associate myself with a project that I really was close to and I could identify to. And I wanted something that was real, a true story, basically. And when I was approached a year and a half ago by Michael Jarvis Michael Jarvis was the director, to do the project, he asked me to audition, and that was nerve-wracking for me. And it was the whole romantic appeal of Angelique and the misinterpretation of the story. Angelique is a true story about a woman falling in love with a painter, but when she tries to run away and pursue this love outside of slavery, she is then captured and accused of burning half of Montreal. And according to the story, she wasn't really the one who started the fire, but she was blamed and hung for it.
In fact, a candle fell over, and
yes,
she was there with her lover at the time.
Exactly.
And the rest is history. And this is Black History Month, of course. And
yes, it is.
Did you know about this era of Quebec history? Because we learned so little about Black history in this province.
Actually, I learned about it very late in my life. I thought I was going to learn about it in high school, but I think stories like this are really important to tell because of that correction that's very necessary in history. People need to know that the history books are not complete. And filmmakers like Michael and Robert are able to put these things together, and accompanied with Michael Jarvis, they managed to do something that was very nice.
Last time you guys were here, of course, it was a story of Jackie Robinson, great film, and this is a follow-up, a couple of projects in between, of course. But Angelique, why this story? What was it about it that appealed to you guys?
I think it was Mike Jarvis actually approached us with the idea when we were shooting the Jackie Robinson film a couple of years ago, and a light bulb went off in his head one day in production on the other film, and he said, I want to do the Marie-Joseph Angelique story. And we had no idea we'd be involved with it, and a couple of years later we were shooting it, and now just finishing up the final touches.
Did you know the story, Robert, of Angelique?
I'd never heard of it until Mike approached us with it, and the second we started reading about it, though, and some research was done, and we had the facts, it was a no-brainer for us. It was a great project. There were some great people involved, some great talent, and it was an opportunity to tell a really terrific story. I think just dramatic story. It doesn't matter that it's real or not. It's just a fantastic story, and the fact that it took place here in Montreal, and also the fact that it talks about slavery. And I think there's this myth that slavery did not exist in Montreal or in New France at the time. And we were able to find that it did. There were laws, and there are some really remarkable stories about that. So this was just one of them.
You talked about laws. Le Code Noir. What was that?
Le Code Noir was a law which was decreed by the king in France, which lasted about, I believe, about 150 years, in all the colonies, giving the rights to the colonists to have slaves, to own black slaves, as well as have Panist and Native American slaves.
Now, it was different, I understand, in New France versus the United States, in terms of which they were more adopted as part of the family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you look a bit more, particularly in each continent, when you think about slavery, you think that Montreal and Quebec wasn't really involved. You think that when the slaves went north, they stopped in New York.
Well, we hear about the Underground Railway and all this kind of stuff, and the heroes of Canada, but we were also guilty of it.
Exactly, because when the slaves once reached New York and saw that slavery was still very active there, they continued on going north, and finally ended up in Montreal. And one thing I do want to emphasize on is the fact that this year is the 165th anniversary of the abolition of slavery in the British colonies. It's the 150th in the French colonies. And it's the 10th anniversary of Montreal declaring a war against racial discrimination.
Important message there. Yeah. For you, as an actress, you said you were a little nervous about auditioning for this. Also, you are used to being television where it's all glamour and glitz. You also have to really get down and dirty in this in terms of no makeup. In fact, you got kind of
Yeah, and not only that, I had to stay in very particular conditions for long periods of time, freezing in jail cells and stuff like that, and looking at myself, seeing myself. I remember my mother was on the set with me, and when she saw me all bruised up, she couldn't even look at me.
Yeah.
But I think being able to portray exactly what Angelique was feeling at that particular moment, and it was very hard for me to identify to that type of anger, because there's so much anger in that period of history, that it was hard for me to be a black woman in Montreal right now and to be so angry. So it took a lot of preparation to be able to put myself in that mind frame.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I know you're working in projects in New York as well as here in Montreal.
In 5 years?
Yeah.
Wow. In 5 years, writing and probably producing some more, and hopefully being able to tell stories that are close to my heart.
Okay. Well, when you have those written, we welcome you back, Meryl.
Definitely,
Good to see you. Thanks. Great movie, Angelique, coming out soon.
In 2 months.
Okay, in 2 months. Look at it for a big screen near you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lester.
We'll take a break. Montreal Today continues right after this.